Hello and welcome to the news. So this week we've got lots and lots of varied news, and I'm going to start with something a little bit miserable, and it's a real shame, and I'm sorry, but I want to get this out of the way. Look, we don't know the story behind this, and this is something that could have been in the works for a long time, and it's just bad timing. But Peavey are relaunching the Eddie Van Halen Wolfgang. Now, we all know that poor Eddie passed away recently, and the whole guitar world is hurt, really, really hurt, and it's sad. And now Peavey very suddenly have released the HP2, which is the Peavey Wolfgang guitar, which he developed with them back in the 90s. When he left them in the 2000s, obviously he used to be able to get the Peavey 5150, then he started up his own EVH, and he got that 5150, and then they created the 6505, and that was because they weren't allowed to use his licenses, so they just carried on doing it, but in a different way. And now they've released this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the specs. I'm going to let you make your own minds up on it. But, okay, look, it's made of aged wood, apparently. Wood that's been sitting around since the 90s. I don't know if that's as a nod back to the fact that they've been working with each other since the 90s. And something that I do like about this is Peavey have entrusted some of the best luthiers in Europe to take over the production of the HP2. So, that's kind of cool. Let's not say any more about it. You make your own minds up about it. I know how I feel about it, but I don't want my opinion to judge you on this matter, because it's a very personal thing. And, All right, okay, let's move on to something that came out a couple of weeks ago, and we didn't talk about it. Okay, so I should hate myself for this, really. I love the White Stripes. I have done since I first knew about them when I was young, and I absolutely fell in love with them as the White Stripes, and then onwards and forwards to other things that Jack White has produced and been a part of. And then he went and did some pedals, where he did the plasma coil with our friends over at Game Changer, Hylia. And now Third Man X, I think that's supposed to say Third Man FX, but Third Man X Copper Sound Triple Graft. This is the pedal that you see beside me here. What's really cool about this is it's an octave pedal. The left pedal gives you an octave down. The right pedal gives you an octave up. These can be momentary or latching. That's what the little lock signs are for in the middle there. So you go dit, 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 dit. And the middle one is a kill dry. So put your foot on that, and you can just play with like really high octaves or really low octaves, or a mixture of the two, and you just take your dry out of it. Really, really cool. I love how it's 3 different buttons. I love how it's like looks like old telegraph machines or Morse code machines. Very, very, very cool. A sexy pedal. Supposed to have very, very low latency. It says 0 latency. Well, that's cool. We are in a world of octave goodness with this and the OCE5 coming out recently. It's all good, baby. It's all good. Let's move on. Okay, so something that I've never been here nor there about the Kemper. I see a use for them, for professional guitarists and studios and these sort of things. These are, an absolute godsend. If you think it's going to replace a proper valve amp, it's not. If you think you're going to get the functionality of this out of any full-on valve amp, you're not. Okay, so they've both got their pros and their cons. What is a benefit of the Kempers is they have updates. And the software updates are really, really cool. They always add such cool stuff on them. They added an acoustic one recently, which is so cool. It's becoming an all-in-one box. Now they're adding some dirt pedals. So you already have things like delay in that built into them. You've had that since day one. But the drive pedals that they're adding into them aren't just like, here's an overdrive, here's a distortion, here's a low-gain overdrive. These are modelled overdrive pedals, and that's pretty cool. So what is the list? So you've got a blues breaker, you've got a king of tone. I wonder if you've got both sides of the king of tone. Otherwise it'll be Prince, obviously. Horizon precision drive, Clon Centaur. You've got tube screamers, you've got OD1s, SD1s, a couple of Boss pedals. You've got a Timmy in there. I wonder if they approached Paul about that. That's interesting. So a lot of stuff on there. What's really exciting for us metalheads, is that in the next update they're promising to deliver some distortions. Considered among many high gain lovers that digital processing hasn't really nailed the high gain stuff very well. I know a lot of high gain guys using the Kemper though, so we'll see. But let's see how Kemper gets on with it. It'd be nice to do like a 5150 distortion for it. Harking back to the beginning again, aren't we? Right, okay, let's move on. So this news, I'm really not sure how I feel. Okay, so half of me thinks, this is really cool. Half of me thinks, who would buy that? Another half of me thinks, I want one of them. And then another half of me, because I've started the cloning process, you see, another half of me thinks, well, I wouldn't ever buy an Epiphone because I've got a Gibson. And it's a bit stupid, isn't it? If a guitar's good, a guitar's good. So what am I talking about? What the hell am I talking about? Okay, right. So we have here a custom shop Epiphone Les Paul 1959. Okay. These things sound like a contradiction, don't they? And you'd be right in thinking so. So it's mahogany body. You've got a maple cap on it, but it's got a veneer on top to make it look like a AAA figured top. So it's just a picture basically, but it still does have the maple cap. You've got the neck from a 59, so it's a rounded C sort of neck, nice. And Indian laurel fretboard, which I don't think that's what they had. But in these times we have to take the woods we're given. This isn't going to be a 59 Les Paul, but this is probably going to be the best Epiphone that you can buy. That's what I reckon. Then again, you can get some of these Joe Bonamassa guitars replicas in Epiphones as well, so I could be wrong. But hey, this looks really, really, really cool. And at £719, I don't know how much they are in the US, sorry, €779. It's a steal. Yeah, it really is. I know people are going to say, what, 700 quid for an Epiphone? 700 quid for a 59 Les Paul? Look at it like that. Right, okay. Lastly, this is quite funny. Would you like to save $8,000? Yes, you. Would you like to save 8,000 Les Paul dollars? Oh, 8,000 Les Pauls. Now that sounds exciting. If you would like to save $8,000, allow Lee to show you how. Okay. Back over a year ago now, I think it was, when Game of Thrones was still what everyone was talking about, and don't forget, there's a prequel series coming up. When Game of Thrones was what everyone was talking about, Fender decided to make some guitars, and they look quite cool. They were made by their custom shop guys, and they put a lot of time and effort into them. They were expensive. We're talking £35,000 expensive. Now that £8,000 is starting to make a little bit of sense, isn't it? Because we've got Black Friday coming up, and I'm guessing they didn't sell well. But 35 grand for a guitar that is based on a TV show, I'm hardly surprised they didn't sell that well. I love guitars and I love Game of Thrones, but I wouldn't have bought one, even if I had the money. Okay, so let's have a look. The Stark Telecaster has had $6,000 slashed off of it, so it's now just down to a mere $19,000. The Targaryen Strat is now $27,000, and that's had $8,000 slashed off of it. The Lannister, oddly enough, the House Lannister Jazzmaster is sold out. Now, either they made less of them, or there's a lot of really messed up people. No, hang on a minute. I'm just remembering politics. Yeah, there's a lot of messed up people. Okay, right. So that's the news for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it, and let's meet again this time next week. Do us a favour, like and subscribe and all that stuff for us. I hate to ask, but it helps the channel. So we'll see you all soon, and thanks very much. Bye bye.